Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie if you're new, and today we have a lot to talk about. If you haven't checked out the community tab on my channel, I highly recommend you do so. That is where I give you guys kind of the updates on my upcoming content and stuff like that. So if you haven't been over there and you were expecting my review of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 today, I'm sorry to disappoint. Also, if you're new, I'm currently doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre series that comes out every Monday, but today that is not happening. Two reasons. Number one, Texas Chainsaw 3, it's kind of lame. I wasn't feeling it. I thought it was super forgetful. I don't think I'm going to dedicate an entire review to it. Just not really worth it to me. Reason number two, the main reason, is because there has just been so many announcements in the horror community lately. I felt that I had to talk about it because I'm also so curious to know how you guys feel about everything that's going on. So for the first announcement, 2,000 subscribers. I don't know what to say. I hit 1,000 subscribers on September 30th, which means that in less than 2 months, I've gained 1,000 new subs. I have no idea where you guys all came from, but welcome all of you. I am so glad that you found me. I'm so glad that you're here. On that note, with my growth and everything, I wanted to do just some slight rebranding. I wanted to change things up a little bit. So with my rebranding, I did ask my friend Jennifer Vega to make some custom art for me, and I love her. I went ahead and I threw this new image on my header and I love it. I'm obsessed. I love it so much. I'll link her channel down below as well as her business email and like her Instagram and stuff like that if you want to reach out to her. Her commissions are so reasonably priced. If you just like want to have a digital image of yourself, you know, go for it. She will listen to literally exactly what you want. She'll give you like a rough sketch of it and be like, hey, do you like this? What can I change here? Whatever. And she'll listen to you and she'll produce exactly what you ask for. No matter if you need to make changes or anything, she will make exactly what you want. So that's new. This is a new image. I'm really excited about that. And along with this, I'm gonna do a little rebranding with the names of my channels as well. So I also have a vlog channel that is entitled Kylie Johnson, and this channel is currently titled Kylie Roseanne. However, it's just a little bit weird. So Roseanne is my middle name, and so I just went with Kylie Roseanne on this channel. My vlog channel is Kylie Johnson, which is my last name. Kind of weird, like there's not really much of a distinction between this being my horror channel and that being my vlog channel. My name is just slightly different. So my vlog channel will now be my Kylie Roseanne channel, and this channel shall henceforth forever be known, maybe not forever, I don't know, but this channel's new name will be Satan's Niece. If you've seen Parks and Rec, it's a reference to that as well. Like April's character and Donna Meagle, she's called Satan's niece. So it's kind of a reference to that, but I also thought it was fitting for horror and my horror channel, and just it fit my general vibe. So yeah, there's that. That is the first announcement. I know that I have a couple friends on YouTube that have shouted me out before and my name was Kylie Roseanne, so that's slightly unfortunate, but the links in their video description should still be the same, should still lead them to my channel, so it's fine. Anyways, so moving on to the first topic of today's conversation, I'm gonna start with what I mentioned on my community tab, which is the fact that Robert Englund was cast for season 4 of Stranger Things. I need a minute. Let me just provide some context for where I'm at emotionally with this. I just finished the entire Nightmare on Elm Street series for the first time. I just did a whole deep dive into that whole franchise. Ton of respect for Robert Englund, a horror icon, one of probably the top 10, top 5 horror icons of all time. And I'm obsessed with Stranger Things. Less so now, but for a minute there, like for, I would say my first year of college, it was my favorite show. I was bonkers obsessed with Stranger Things. I have the season 1 and season 2 posters. I have Stranger Things socks. I have a Stranger Things t-shirt. I also have a Hawkins Middle School AV Club sweatshirt. Those were all things I asked for one Christmas because of my obsession with Stranger Things. It was no joke. So let's just get into it. Let me just kind of explain the character he's gonna be playing and whatnot. So as you have already seen, he's gonna be a disturbed man imprisoned for a gruesome murder. I think this is kind of an homage to Freddy Krueger because it's a very similar character, you feel me? So let's read about it a little bit. So even in this article, they said that this character is one that potentially pays tribute to his most iconic role. It's gonna be a recurring role of Victor Creel, a disturbed and intimidating man who is imprisoned in a psychiatric hospital for a gruesome murder in the 1950s. And then this person hypothesizes that this role is likely to put him back on the mainstream radar for a series that has often paid tribute to A Nightmare on Elm Street. It seems only right that England is now making his way into Hawkins, and I agree. I'm curious how you guys feel about this. I'm not entirely sure, honestly, how Stranger Things has paid tribute to A Nightmare on Elm Street, mostly because I didn't watch the Nightmare movies before seeing Stranger Things. It was the other way around. So I'm definitely gonna give Stranger Things a rewatch. Let me know if you want me to review each season, you know, before the new one comes out in 2022. Or is it 2022? I actually don't know. But I can only imagine because they just announced the new cast, so I mean, it's gonna take them over a year to get the new season out, I know it. They are so unbelievably slow at producing that content, but they don't produce content just to produce it. They actually build on the story very well in each season, and each season is treated kind of differently but with a lot of care to give them their own unique vibe and whatnot. So I'm not mad that we have to wait, although with this news, the anticipation is gonna be crazy when it's finally almost gonna be coming out, because I'm curious how you guys feel about this as well. My kind of anticipation for another season of Stranger Things has dwindled a lot. We sort of left season 3 on a bit of a cliffhanger, kind of, but then it was revealed some months later or whatever that Hopper was still alive, which I knew. I was deeply in denial when he died. I knew they weren't, I just knew they weren't gonna kill off Hopper. So I mean, they left us on kind of a cliffhanger, and now Mike and Eleven, I think, are separated because Will is moving. Not really sure the direction they're gonna take with season 4, but now we have these new characters that they've announced. But I'm curious about how you guys feel about the hype of Stranger Things. I mean, it started as an adventure show that centered around these children. They were children, and now most of them are legal adults or almost legal adults. They're quite a bit older, and I'm curious about the themes they're gonna bring in, but they're also gonna have this new character of Peter, who is an orderly at the psychiatric hospital, whatever. Jonathan is gonna have a new best friend who is a fun-loving stoner who proudly delivers pizza. Stoner representation, yes. Eddie Munson is a new character. That sounds kind of interesting. He is an audacious 80s metalhead who runs the Hellfire Club, which is the high school's official D&D club. Oh my goodness. He's apparently going to be at the epicenter of this season's mystery. So I'm curious about all these new characters. They sound great. There are a couple new ones that are recurring. I'll just link this Bloody Disgusting article down below so you can read it as well and read up on the other characters. And I'll have all of the articles linked down below, by the way. Up next is something that I just want to mention really briefly. Tati Gabriel is joining Penn Badgley in season 3 of Netflix's You. If you have not seen You, it's not a horror show by any means. It's a drama, but I don't know, it's an intense drama. There is some gore, there's some really insane things that happen in that show. That show is incredibly stimulating, and I love the cast. It's cast expertly. And now that Tati Gabriel is joining, they have my interest with season 3, because it's kind of like after you've been on the wild ride of season 1 and 2, I won't give any spoilers, it's like, where are they gonna take it from here? And I felt that way about season 2 as well. I thought after season 1, where are they gonna go from here? But I do think there is a lot to explore with Joe. He's the most villainous main character I have seen on a TV show in a very long time. And it's really interesting when you have an anti-hero like that, and he's made commentary on it, and he says, well, the point of the show is kind of like, well, how far are we willing to go to excuse the actions of a white man? I'll link that interview down below if I can find it, but he makes some really interesting commentary on it. So I'm excited about that because Tati Gabriel is from Sabrina, which is the Netflix show about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I never actually finished that because I wasn't super into it, which I was kind of bummed about because I love witches. I loved the cast. It was a great cast. Ross Lynch, the boy, Kiernan Shipka, the girl, and then of course Tati Gabriel was just a bad bitch in that show. So I'm excited to see what she does on You. I'm excited that Netflix is giving her other projects. Moving on to some news around Ryan Murphy. This man, okay, Ryan Murphy has been putting in, I think, the most work this year out of any Hollywood producer. I think that Netflix really has clung on to him. They saw that he was doing crazy, just amazing things. They saw him doing AHS, they saw him do Glee. They they were like, we want this man. So he's done a bunch of projects recently for Netflix, and then also we found out other things that he had in the works. He shared the poster art for FX spin-off series American Horror Stories. This poster looks so cool, you guys, and I'm so excited about this. This show will be found exclusively on FX on Hulu, and this spin-off series will contain 1 hour contained episodes, and Murphy took to Instagram and he shared this poster. And it was weird because on that Instagram post, not even in the caption did he announce what it was. He put it in the comments section for whatever reason, but they are going to be doing 16 1-hour-long episodes delving into different horror myths, legends, and lore. And many of the episodes, he said, will star some of our favorite AHS characters, or not characters, actors. Sarah Paulson will also be directing an episode. I'm so excited for that. Good for her. I mean, she's been putting in work for Ryan Murphy for over 10 years at this point, so good for her. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what she directs after just seeing the talent from her and how many different characters she was able to embody. To see what she'll be able to direct is very interesting to me. Also related to Ryan Murphy, he recently posted the newest person that they cast for American Horror Story season 10. It's this crazy contortionist. You know what? Let me get my phone because let's watch this video together. Congrats to Spencer Novich, who is joining the cast of this season's American Horror Story. This is the audition that got him the job. So that's really cool. You rarely get to see audition tapes, but this one just, I can see why this got him the role. I think this was a pretty unknown person, an unknown actor, but this audition tape was so good that they cast him from it, and he felt inclined to share this audition tape with the world. So just brace yourself. Oh.
I'm gonna kill you.
So yeah, we clearly have a new icon joining the cast of American Horror Story. Spencer Novich, I feel like he's gonna be a new creature actor to look out for. Obviously we have Javier Botet, who is just iconic. He's one of my favorite actors. Spencer Novich, I see bright things in his future. And then with this announcement, they did confirm that Sarah Paulson will be returning for season 10, We Love. And the season 10 cast will also include AHS regulars Evan Peters, Kathy Bates, Billy Lord, Finn Whitrock, Lily Rabe, Leslie Grossman, Adina Porter, and Angelica Ross. And it will be starring Macaulay Culkin. Season 10, they're really getting my hopes up, and I'm taking all this good news with a grain of salt just because the last couple seasons of American Horror Story have been kind of disappointing to me. I feel like I haven't truly loved a season since Hotel, so the 5th season. They're about to be on season 10, which, by the way, let's look at this artwork. I'm curious to know what you guys think the theme of this season is going to be. Most people are pondering it has something to do with sirens, which I think is reasonable because they did post something about the ocean. There was a teaser where they posted a clip of the ocean side, and also this person has pointed teeth much like a siren would. I also forgot to mention during the video, they also have in this image like a tattoo needle that's tattooing the thing on the tongue. I think that might be alluding to sailors, perhaps, the way that sailors have tattoos. It's a very loose connection, but I think it's there. Also, when I first saw it, I thought it was a dental instrument, and I thought, oh my god, dentists? And I loved that idea, but then upon closer inspection, I did indeed realize it was a tattoo needle. So I don't know. My best guess is sailors. Also, oh my god, my eyes are so pretty. I'm sorry. Bye. So we'll see. Very interesting concepts that they're throwing at us. Very interesting new casting that we have. I don't know what type of role Macaulay Culkin is gonna have. What has he really even done? I mean, he's best known for Home Alone. I can't even think of another movie that he's been in. So it's exciting. They're throwing a lot at us. I would like to know your theories about what the new season of American Horror Story is gonna be, how you feel about the new cast, how you feel about the old cast all returning. I am certainly very excited about that. Just because season 9, 1984 it fell really flat for me, especially because we were missing most of our iconic actors. So anyways, moving on, next topic. So Kevin Williamson has shared that the new title for Scream 5 is actually just going to be Scream. Scream. That's very interesting to me given that we're on Scream 5 and it's not a remake or anything, it's another sequel, so the fact that they're titling it just Scream is interesting to me. I think that's a good idea because after you've hit your third sequel, I think it's kind of alienating to more general audiences when you tack a 5 onto the title of the movie. So I think it's smart in terms of marketing. It's gonna bring more people in that wouldn't generally come if they haven't seen the first 4 movies, because that's kind of a lot to ask of people to watch 4 movies before coming to see this one blindly. So titling it just Scream, that makes sense. I want to know how you guys feel about that. I think they could have possibly tacked on maybe just one more word to the title to differentiate it from the original. It's been less than 30 years since the original came out. It is a sequel, it's not a remake, so the fact that they're both titled Scream, slightly confusing, just slightly. Maybe it would be too much of a stretch, maybe it would be too different, but what if they title it something like Ghostface? I don't know. It's also just so reminiscent of Halloween 2018 because that is also a sequel, but that movie came out literally 40 years after the original, so that one I excuse. So with this one, I guess we're gonna start calling them Scream 1996 and Scream 2022. Those just don't really have the same type of ring to them, I feel, as Halloween 78 and Halloween 2018. I don't know why. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on the title. But he also did announce that filming has officially wrapped and we will be getting this movie in a year and 2 months, which is just mwah. With COVID and everything going on, there are multiple film sets where COVID outbreaks have happened and filming has been delayed. I think Olivia Wilde's film that's starring Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, that one has been put on hold because somebody got COVID on set. And I'm pretty sure that I've heard that happening on multiple sets, so I don't know. I'm so glad that they successfully filmed Scream. I didn't hear of any COVID issues or anything like that. So that's really exciting. That basically guarantees that we will be getting that movie in a year and 2 months. And then Kevin Williamson also shared a nice little note on Twitter and just some pictures of when he was on set. Oh, he said that that's a wrap on Scream, which I'm excited to announce is the official title of the next film. Nearly 25 years ago when I wrote Scream and Wes Craven brought it to life, I could not have imagined the lasting impact it would have on you, the fans. Moving on to the next topic though. Seth Rogen is producing a horror movie called Video Nasty for Lionsgate, and it's about a cursed VHS tape that pulls teens into an 80s slasher. My initial reaction to this was to be a little bit apprehensive just because I feel like the 80s are very played out at this point. I'm just gonna list out some of the stuff that has come out literally in the last 5 years. So we had American Horror Story 1984, we had the movie Summer of '84, which is on Shudder, we had 3 seasons of Stranger Things, we had It 2017, we're getting a Wonder Woman 1984 movie. Why is everything set in 1984 specifically, by the way? AHS 84, Wonder Woman 1984, Summer of '84, whatever. Also, I feel like DC hopped on that bandwagon way too late, but when don't they? So at first when I read that, I was like, oh, we're still stuck trying to bring back the 80s. I just say that because I feel like they've been brought back. I feel like 80s fashion is back. I don't think that's going anywhere. People gobbled up that 80s nostalgia content, specifically people my age, because they made it seem like growing up in the 80s was the best thing ever. I feel like most of that hype for the 80s has passed at this point. I feel a little bit tired of that. However, I feel like with Seth Rogen, who I just think is such a brilliant writer, one of his latest movies that he produced was Good Boys, which I think is just criminally underrated. I thought that was an excellent movie. Amazing acting by these young boys, really quite serious themes about coming of age, so successfully pulled off. It's a great movie. So I do trust Seth Rogen with this. And also most of the 80s content that has come out is, it's set in the 80s with children that are, from the 80s. It's in the 80s. With this, it's going to be teenagers from 2020, okay, being transported into an 80s slasher, which likely means people my age, I'm 21, people my age playing teens being transported to the 80s. That is interesting. Having just watched all of the most iconic 80s slashers in history, I feel like I can safely say there is a ton of material to work with when it comes to 80s tropes, and then mixing that with current day teenagers. I think it's gonna be hilarious. It's also gonna be a dark comedy version of Jumanji, which I love that. That's a great movie. I'm very curious to see how they pull that off. So what do you think? Are you over this whole 80s nostalgia thing? Do you trust Seth Rogen? Do you think it's gonna be funny? Do you think it's gonna suck? Let me know. Let me know all your thoughts. And then speaking of 80s nostalgia and classic slashers, so there are apparently, I guess, rumors or something flying around on a couple of these horror blogs about hopes for a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So apparently Elijah Wood and Daniel Noah have expressed interest in doing another reboot of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And also the producer of The Haunting of Hill House, Mike Flanagan, has a pitch for a new Nightmare movie. And Robert Englund has actually been interviewed about this supposed new Nightmare movie. I'll link the full article down below just because it's kind of long and he gets into a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna like totally break it down, but he talked about some of the ideas for the film. One of them was actually a prequel that focuses on the courtroom stuff with Freddy and the lawyers and how all that played out. There was another one that was gonna be about Tina's sister from the very first Nightmare on Elm Street movie. She was gonna come home and find out the truth about what happened to her sister. So then that would obviously be set back in 1985. It would be a period piece. But Robert Englund said that he would do an animated reboot of Nightmare 1. He would never make Nightmare 1 again, just leave the two alone that are there, and then he'd do the one with Tina and her sister, and he would want to do that one live action. So very interesting. He gets into a lot of different stuff about the franchise as a whole and how he would play off of that, what he would do in a remake, or I mean a reboot or whatever. But it seems like he would be interested in being in another Nightmare on Elm Street movie, which I mean that's really all anyone can really ask for, I guess. Especially fans of the franchise. Even though I thought Jackie Earle Haley was great, I think I would obviously rather have Robert Englund in a Nightmare movie again. So that's very interesting. I don't think there's actually really anything that's gonna come of that, at least not anytime soon. It's kind of just like this rumored thing. Robert Englund has talked about it, so. Okay, I have to pop in again because I just saw this thing on Twitter, and apparently Joaquin Phoenix might be starring in an Ari Aster movie. Are you I don't know what will happen when we put these two men together. I feel like their energies colliding will cause some sort of cataclysmic, cosmic event. I don't know. But with Ari Aster's talent of creating the unsettling and with Joaquin's talent of being the unsettled, who knows? Who knows what these two men together will do. And yeah, oh, there's my Stranger Things poster. So yeah, definitely let me know what you think about that. I had to pop in because I just saw that. Unfortunate that I didn't see it earlier. But yeah, anyways, back to the video. The last thing I want to talk about briefly is just the fact that HBO has passed on making a season 2 of The Outsider, and so it's going to be shopped out. I feel really iffy about this just because HBO and the quality that HBO produces content is so high. I think it's very weird for a show to have one season that was also, by the way, so successful on HBO and so incredibly well made to be shopped out to another network to make the second season, just because there's no way that the show wouldn't have a completely different vibe. And also season 1 told the complete story. It's based off of a book by Stephen King. The book is excellent. I read it last year and I love that book. And the story was complete. It was really meant to just be a limited series. It wasn't supposed to have a second season. But I think because it was so successful, actually, let me talk about that for a sec. They went from 1.2 million viewers for its premiere to 2.2 million for the finale, and it had 11 million multi-platform viewers per episode. So obviously a very successful show. I think that's the reason why they want to produce a second season, or why other companies are trying to pick it up to produce a second season. I just don't really know where they would go from there. I don't know where they would go from season 1. I think there's certainly a way for the ending to not necessarily be the ending we thought it was, but if the same team of people is not going to be working on season 2, and especially because there is no source material to make a season 2, especially, you know, obviously nothing written by Stephen King to work off of, I just don't really know what they're gonna do. I think HBO produces probably the best quality of content aside from No, I think they produce the best quality of content. So this news, while I loved the show and I would want to watch a season 2, I guess, it's kind of like bad news in my opinion, just because there's not gonna be any way for the second season to be as good or better than the first one, especially if it's not made by the same people. So let me know how you feel about that if you even watched The Outsider. And on that note, that kind of wraps up all of the announcements that I wanted to talk about, so please let me know if there are any that I missed. I saw something about how The Walking Dead said, is having now an extended season 10. I was under the impression that the episodes that were coming out now were season 11, but now it says that there is an extended season 10 finale or something that's coming out in February. I don't know. So if you have more info on that or just other announcements that I missed, then definitely comment them down below. I definitely want to be up to date on what's going on in the horror world. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so. All of that will be linked down below. Basically all of my usernames for literally Depop, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, it's all at Kai Johns. And like I mentioned before in this video, I have a vlog channel that'll be linked down below. You can check that out if you'd like to. I only post over there like every 2 to 3 weeks, so not super often. It's also just kind of content that doesn't fit on this channel. Wednesday will be my review of Child's Play 3, and then on Friday will be my announcement of the giveaway winner, as well as some kind of some surprise content. I did have something else planned for Friday, but I changed that up as well, so this week is a little bit funky, but I think you'll like Friday's video, so it's all good. Also be sure to check out those petitions and the sources down below. I update those every single week. One company that I wanted to feature this week is called Bonfire. They are selling these shirts for a fundraiser, and all the money will be going directly to Black and brown transgender communities, which I think is so cool. So definitely check them out, get yourself a shirt, check out those other environmental companies down below that you can donate to. Some of them are tax deductible, which we love. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope I catch you in the next one. Bye!